Well, good afternoon. Here we are, back in the garage, and we're going to have a look today at trimming off the dowels we put in last week. And we'll see about removing these string ferrules. The way I'm going to have a go at this, it's a bit of a long shot, but I'm going to use my soldering iron to heat these, which will hopefully melt the lacquer finish around that may well be holding it. So once they're warm, with this piece of doweling that I will whittle the end down because it doesn't quite fit, I want to insert this and we'll just gently wiggle this around and hopefully we can pull it out. If not, well, I'll have to think of another plan, but one way or the other they're coming out. So before we get on to that, let's trim these guys off. Now the way this should be done is cut with, I think the tool is called a flush trim saw. I think it's very flexible and it will get very close. It doesn't have teeth that are like this. The teeth are pretty well flat. I don't have one, and I'm not going to go and buy one just for this project, but my idea is the good old hacksaw blade, which obviously can go very, very flat. So we'll try it on this one here and just see how we go. I'm going to put a little bit of masking tape down, kind of to protect the finish. As I said in the last video, this finish is going to come off, so I'm not too worried about it, but there's no sense in scratching it up unnecessarily. So we'll put a bit of masking tape down and we'll cut this guy off with the saw, and then I need to bring him down very, very close with the chisel. This chisel is very, very sharp, and I haven't had a sharp chisel in my hand for a good many years, so we'll just see how we go. First things first, let's get our masking tape and we'll just cut around this guy, mask around this guy so that we can cut it, and we'll see how we go. There we go. Actually, I want a little bit more across the top. Alright, here we go. Well, that wasn't so difficult, was it? Pull this off, and we still have a little edge there. Let's see if we can ease this down. Let's put a block of wood there to hold this. So it can't move away. Alright, here we go. Alright, it's not quite flush. We'll come at it from a different angle, see how this one goes. Still not quite there. There we go. Wasn't so difficult. The last little bit of this we'll take off with sandpaper when I sand the whole thing, but yeah, that works pretty good. We'll do a couple more and then I'll do the rest off camera because you don't need to see it all. And the next thing we'll do is have a look at those string ferrules on the back. sure a cabinet maker wouldn't like this method I'm using, but well, it works, doesn't it? It works just fine. Okay. Beautiful. This is not so difficult. Alright, I'll finish the rest of these and then we'll come back and see if we can have a look at those string ferrules on the back and give it a shot. Be back soon. Okay, we're back now. All the holes are filled. It's all looking pretty good. The next job is going to be these dreaded string ferrules, and as I mentioned, I'm going to try and heat it with a soldering iron and just see how we go. I really have no idea if this is going to work or not. We'll see. The only other option would be to knock them through from the side, but as you can see the holes are so small that I have nothing that small except maybe a nail, and I don't think there'll be any way to get a purchase on the inside of these, so the nail will just come all the way through and won't achieve anything. If the soldering iron heating doesn't work, the only other thing I can think of would be to drill these out about the same size as the dowels and put a decent punch through there and punch them out. The holes are going to be filled anyway, so it won't matter that much, but the chances of getting the ferrules out undamaged will be just about zero. So we'll give it a shot, aided by the black coffee, of course, and we'll see how we go. We have our little bit of doweling here that fit nicely in there, if you can see that. So let's try heating this first one up and we'll just see what happens. It doesn't concern me if I spoil the finish here, as I've mentioned a couple of times now. It's all going to be refinished anyway. Now I can see the finish deforming, if I catch the light right, around the ferrule, so it's doing something. So let's drop the soldering iron back here and see what happens. And the answer is nothing. We're not going to get it out this way, it doesn't look like. Okay, this way is a little bit more crude, but I'm going to give it a shot because, like I say, I don't care about the finish too much. If I can dig it out. Like this, that's gonna come. I hope my head's not in the way so you can see what's going on here. There we go, look at that. It's going to be a bit hot, so I better not touch it. But hopefully we didn't damage it. If you can see that there. Okay. There we go. Doesn't appear to be any damage at all on that. Very nice. I wonder how this dowel fits. Yeah, I've got, to plug these holes, I've got a larger dowel. This is 6mm. I've got a 10mm dowel to do the exact same thing we did with these. But I won't be plugging them just now. Today I want to get these out. I've taken some measurements. I think I mentioned before about taking the measurement from the string holes to the back, which I've done there. So I've noted this down, it's 130mm. So that's what we need to know. I'll explain perhaps after we've done this why I've got to move these. We'll see how much time we've got. I'll get one more out on the camera for you, and then I'll do the rest off camera because I don't want to make the video too long and too boring. The finish here, you know, that's all going to be sanded and no worries at all. Multitasking. Oh, I can't beat a good strong cup of coffee. I don't know whether the dowel helped release it or not, but we may as well follow the same pattern that we did before. And we'll just dig them out. Lovely. Well, we can definitely reuse those. So that's very, very pleasing. Okay, I'll get the rest of these out off camera and I'll come back and show you afterwards. Okay, so we're back now and you can see that we've got them all out. The deforming here, not worried about that at all. So we're good to go. Everything is now removed from this and we can start getting our teeth into the rebuild. Just before we do go any further, I just spoke a little earlier about this distance here. I'm going to explain a little bit about it, but the majority of the reasoning will be, I'll make it clear when the guitar's finished and we're doing the setup of it. Then you'll probably understand a bit better, but just briefly, you'll remember this is the original bridge that I took off. See a little bit of rust there, look. These 6 holes are the 6 holes that line up here. So it's something like that. You see, yeah, that's pretty close. Right there is how it was. Now, where the springs go over the saddles, as I mentioned once before, it's very important as to whether the guitar plays in tune or not. I'm just going to mark that with this piece of dowel, so we've got a reference line, if I can make it stay about there. That's kind of where this saddle, which is the further forward one, that's where it wants to be. So we'll just take this out of the way for the moment, And we'll have a look at the new saddle that I'm going to be putting in there. Isn't that a lovely piece of equipment? Now this one here, you can see the 6 holes are in a different location altogether. Not even close. As close as I can get it just for this quick demonstration, it's going to be somewhere about there. Now you see the saddle on this is here. It can't come forward a lot more. It certainly can't come forward to this level. So this will never play in tune. What I have to do is re-drill those 6 holes and bring it forward to somewhere around here, so that I've got adjustment forwards and backwards, maybe a little bit further, about there somewhere perhaps. So I've got adjustment forward and backwards on each of these saddles that can be adjusted via the screw at the back here. Same sort of deal as this screw at the back. These are 3 saddles. This one has got 1 saddle per string, which is a much better, in my opinion, idea. It's a bit more 20th century than this, which was designed in 1949, and you know, they've never advanced on it, and it beggars belief why people insist on using this. I really don't get it. That said, this is what I'm going to use, and that's the reason I have to re-drill those 6 holes. Whether we can draw them straight or not, that's going to be the challenge, and it has to be, so I have to learn how to do it. These are the saddles that we've taken out, only the saddles, the ferrules that we've taken out, and I'll definitely be reusing them. I noticed that to keep them flush, I don't know if you can see, there's a tiny little lip in there. It's probably only 1 millimetre deep. I'll have to measure the corresponding lip on the ferrule, if you can see that, I don't know, so that they go in there completely flush to the surface. Another challenge, but we'll get to it. In the next one, the next video, I'm going to tackle this. I've got a bit of a plan how I'm going to do it. Just let me grab something, I'll show you. I've got this lovely piece of pine here. I don't know what kind of wood this is. Could well be pine, could be basswood. I really don't know. I don't think it's going to make a difference. My idea is going to be, with this piece of wood, to cover, which will cover nicely. I'll have to measure, of course, the edge will be somewhere around there, I'm thinking. And we'll cut the square so it's just in front, so we've got a nice square that fits beautifully. And then I will, rather than make this fit that, I'll make a new hole that fits this exactly. And this should be quite a tight fit, and I think this is going to work well. Whether it actually does in reality or not, well, we'll see. Like I said before, I'm not a cabinet maker, I'm not a luthier, but logically speaking, I think that that will work just fine. I'll do the same thing for this, but I have to, trim the wood down, of course. For this pickup hole here, I'm not sure whether I'll need to. I may just be able to route this out to suit the new pickups. I'm not sure. Once this is done, it's fitted, it's finished, then I'm going to have to route this out so it's a perfect fit for the new pickups when they arrive, whenever that may be. They're on their way apparently, but they haven't arrived yet. But no problem, we've got plenty to get on with. So that's going to be it for this one. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.